Welcome to the fourth round of this league. Once again, on a play with this, it's actually, I think it's not that bad. Ignore all these super expensive spells that should probably rather be Elves. We still have Green's Acceleration on the first turn into Glimpse of Nature on the second turn to draw a bunch of extra cards, which puts the opponent under a lot of pressure, which once again is a reason why I really dislike Cataxian Probe, because if he sees that our hand is this bad on his turn, he will evaluate his position in the matchup much more differently than he would if he didn't know. Because if we go for like Glimpse next turn and we get Viable Symbiote and a creature and we draw like 2 or 3 cards, we are probably still not like in an amazing position, but from his side of the board, if he can't see our hand, it looks like we're about to definitely kill him on the third turn, and he has to play much more conservatively at that point. Whereas if he sees our hand, he can play much more aggressively. So this is just one of those instances where I feel like Cataxian Probe could actually like hurt us quite a bit if he gets it down here. Needless to say, it also gives him the information that if he counters Glimpse, it would be really good. But I think that's okay, because countering Glimpse is still a reasonably likely play here. That's like, it's not like Probe is giving him a super additional advantage of knowing to counter Glimpse here, even though like most really good opponents usually don't counter Glimpse in a board like this, at least in my experience. I don't know whether it's good or bad. Oh no, please don't be. It's Death and Taxes, which is like surprisingly good against this kind of hand. But if you can find, say, Cradle or just a 1-mana elf like Quirion Ranger here, I think we are still in great shape. Even Visionary into Cradle, into Replay Visionary, into Deathrite Shaman or Quirion Ranger or anything would be really great. Like, if you've watched my channel before, you probably know that I spent most of my time fantasizing. Oh, what? It's not? Oh, it's Deathblade then. Okay, Pitcher Snapcaster. I spent most of my time fantasizing about what I could draw and how it would change the match. And yeah, I think that's really, really important in Elves to always be aware of, especially in Elves, aware of the lines. It's gonna be Stoneforge. Okay. Okay, I think I will do this here, because I really just want to make another land drop, or maybe even find Viable Symbiote. Maybe he even Force of Wills this. It's still not great though. Stupid flies. Summer comes around, flies start flying onto my head again. Okay, he pitches Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. If you haven't seen that guy before, apparently he's like a real card in Legacy now. He can, like, the only thing I've ever seen him done in Legacy was to stop the blue-white Miracles player from decking himself against Maverick, because the guy was like all counter spells and draw spells and didn't really have a lot of business. So eventually Maverick just ran him out of relevant cards. And even though he had Chase, he couldn't have killed Maverick in time before he would have decked to his own deck. So he could like infinitely loop Chase on himself, but eventually he would just lose because Maverick had more actual cards that do something. But then he found Teferi, and Teferi stops himself from decking by putting it back into the library. So yeah, so he's got Glimpse. Okay. We just played this. It's not great, but like there's a chance that we want to have this guy in play next turn when we draw, for example, Cradle or yeah. And also, like, one of the lines I could see is like double blocking the Stoneforge, but only if I draw a land next turn, because that gives us the out of drawing another land the turn after to cast Reclamation Sage. And even though we would lose the Reclamation Sage and our Druid and the Dryad and he would gain 2 life, I think it's still a position that I would be okay with. I wonder if he found the land. He didn't shuffle. I don't hate playing the Deathrite Shaman. It makes it slightly more likely that we get to Reclamation Sage next turn. But yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. Better close your eyes. The best card, you know what? So here's an exercise for you. If I could have one card in my hand right now, which one would that be? Like if I could have one card in my deck that would be in my hand right now. Like not during my mind phase, but right now. It's definitely Crop Rotation. Because Crop Rotation could stop this guy from getting any tokens, any counters on the Chitte. So do I actually make a multi-block? If I he Conveniently for me, he also tapped his white, so I don't have to fear any kind of removal. So if I double block, say, Heritage Druid and Dryad Arbor on the Stoneforge, then he probably kills Dryad Arbor with the damage, and then Deathlight Shaman with the tokens, which would be like the worst case scenario for me, but he also wouldn't have a creature, and he's only got 2 cards in hand. So if I don't block at all, he can take out Dryad Arbor and Heritage Druid, and then if I draw a land, that's amazing. And if he takes out Deathlight Shaman instead, that's still amazing, so maybe I don't block. The thing is, if I don't find a land, then I'm really screwed, whereas if I double block, I might have more time. Oh, it's so hard. You already used 2 forces, the long game might be quite good for us. Because if I don't double block here and just take it, then I'm never gonna come back if I don't draw the land. Whereas if I do double block... Oops. What if I put Deathlight Shaman and... No, that's still the same outcome. Maybe I can entice him to leave the Dryad Arbor alive by putting these 2 in front of the Stoneforge, but that kind of gives away the vibe that I want to keep the Dryad Arbor. Oh, I'd rather move to blocks. Okay, thank you. I think I'm gonna play the long game here. What if I put Deathlight Shaman there? No, I already hesitated long enough, I guess. Can't I put the Dryad Arbor beneath the Heritage Tree? I just want to make it... Like, if he just goes, yeah, confirm blockers, I want the Dryad Arbor to be below. Oh, okay, whatever. He might not even order the Arbor first, out of fear of... Oh no, that doesn't make sense. Out of fear of Proportation, but then he still gets to deal damage to the Druid. Yeah, and then he takes out the Deathlight Shaman. But the thing is, we are... Unless he goes like Delvar or Scornfall or Egoist or something, we are guaranteed for him to not hit with the Chitter next turn. Oh, he doesn't take... What? Okay. Watch him have another Force of Will or Daze. But that's okay. I think this... And now if we draw another land, then we can make Nissa next turn. Oh no, you can't because he takes out the Reclamation. But this is still fine for me. Like, whoa. He didn't kill the Deathlight Shaman. Dude. Oh. I did not expect this. He didn't kill the Deathlight Shaman. People really overvalue the... Oh, it's better. Better Skull I can live with. Or Sword of Fire and Ice. Oh, that would be annoying. It's Better Skull. People really overvalue how good Heritage Druid is. Like, if you ask any kind of Elves player, like in a vacuum, which one's the worst Elf, it's definitely Heritage Druid. Which is weird because, yes, it does make the deck work, and the deck would look very differently without Heritage Druid, but on its own, especially like on small, tiny boards, it's actually one of the worst cards you could play. It's even also one of the worst turn 1 plays you can have, for example. So... Gaining 2 life, racing the Better Skull. Don't have Snapcaster. Okay. So if I go like this and then I draw another elf, say Quirion Ranger, then I think I can Nissa. Whereas if I cast it like this and I draw a land, I can still Nissa. Or Firewall Symbiote would be great. That's not great, but it's still okay. Now we got 4 mana. You might even be able to... I think we can hardcast Krotov next turn. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we can hardcast Krotov and attack for 6, 12, 7, 9. I think 19. That's not good enough in the face of Stoneforge, but it's good enough on this board, though. I wonder what his last couple of cards are. He has missed land drops, so you would think that his cards do something. He already used 2 Force of Wills, but he could have another Force of Will, of course. He had an okay opening to play Chase, so he probably doesn't have Chase. Nothing, once again. Okay. Here comes Nissa, or Nissa has already been pretty good for us this league. even though whenever I play like multiple natural orders, sometimes they really do save my ass against, especially against those, what my friend Mario sometimes calls bullshit decks. Anyway, we are gonna get this guy down. Wild Symbiote. And if he does have a counterspell, like literal counterspell or even Force of Will, he would probably use it on this, and then we can get Nissa down. And if he does not, then I don't even know what to do, because then we can do so many things. Counterspell lead. Oh, you don't. Okay, what are you doing with your life if you do not counterspell these? Just make a bunch of mana. Or I could even hardcast Crowd Oath. Not yet. Oh, you might have Spell Pierce, so maybe I can still pay for Spell Pierce. Land? Land would be okay. I wouldn't mind drawing a land. This one's actually okay. Oh, you know what he has? I just realized he probably has Supreme Verdict. There's a pretty good chance he is. But would you really play Supreme Verdict in this deck? Probably not. Just get Nissa. Nissa is so much better than Titania, like, as a girl. I imagine Titania to be a bit cocky. She's been around since, I think, Antiquities or Legends or something. Anything in the graveyard I want. I could get the Reclamation Sage, but that wouldn't really do much. Actually, it would delay, but yeah, but that's not great. Should I just hardcast Crowd Oath? That doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it really doesn't do anything. It just attacks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for 13. It's not bad. It's not good. I think I really just make this into a dude. So if he actually has Supreme Verdict, maybe I should animate Cradle instead. It doesn't really matter as long as I get to keep Nissa. Yeah. Also, I can attack here. He can double block, of course, but I think that costs him so much tempo. And this also gives us the chance of him missing that we got a 5/5 on his turn as well. It still stays up in the line of the creatures. Now he finds the turn draw for the double white. So if he has it, he should send everything at Nissa probably. So yeah, so he shouldn't have played the turn draw right away. If he does have Supreme Verdict. So you would think if he didn't have if he had Supreme Verdict, it would be kind of a tell that he Judgment. Oh, Judgment is annoying. It's okay though. Like if he had Supreme Verdict, he would not play the Tundra before combat because he would be like aware of that. But I think you couldn't read that much into his actions. It's like sometimes making the not technically perfect play is great because it puts your opponent into this weird spot where they're like, is this like a never bluff a monkey scenario, or is it like an actual double reverse on me and I fell for it. Visionary. And then I should just have enough mana. I didn't do the math, but it looks like 1 mana floating actually. Yeah, here we are. 1 mana floating. There it is. Do it.
Finish him.
Got him. Okay, I love playing against blue-white Stoneblade with Elves. I feel the matchup is pretty good for Elves, especially in the first game. Like, it can get dicey in the second game. I mean, that's what sideboards are for in the first place, right? For them to fix the problems they might have with the matchup. But overall, it's something that I really deeply enjoy because it reminds me of like what Legacy used to be in a way. Like all these old. In a way, it reminds me of playing against land still, even though it's quite a bit different, but you still get to go for these like really long, drawn-out, interesting games where you go back and forth and have like this deck like Elves that uses these marginal, small advantages to eventually pile up and actually overcome the opponent card advantage-wise. And also tempo-ish wise, because usually when Elves does something cool, it costs 2 mana. When Landstill or like Blue-White Control does something, it costs 4 mana. Like Supreme Verdict, Chase, whatever. And so that's something I really, really enjoyed. I always refer to that kind of concept of spending less mana than your opponent as velocity, even though it's also part of the tempo game. But I feel tempo is not 100% applicable because it's not following the core principles of tempo, where you want to finish the game like with 0 cards in hand, where your opponent has 7 cards in hand, but they just couldn't get there. It's more like I get more bang for my buck with the things I do than you do, so the longer we do it, the more ahead I will be. Whereas control is like a little different there, like I spend more money than you, but I also make it work much better than you. So yeah. Anyway, let's go back to this. Usually like taking out one of those each, definitely keeping this, keeping 1 Grotto, which is okay. You could even like keep 2 natural orders and opportunities, but I don't really like that. I'd rather like, if I do something like that, I want to keep 3 natural orders. But let's just go with this. Oh, I can keep 2? 3? Oh, 62 is the greatest thing ever. You should all be playing 62 cards. And 3 too. Not even sure. They're not even guaranteed. Okay, here we go. Have you seen how bad our opening hand was in the first game? Like, how horrible? And the opponent even had like double Force of Will into Stoneforge, yeah, but not much to follow it up afterwards. This is okay, this can win on turn 2. You're playing against Ugin. If he ever uses his Planeswalker ability, we're so screwed. We are the Echo Mage. You can't see that because I made my avatar all pink to use the chroma key to get my life total on top of my webcam. Mulligan, opponent Mulligan's to 6. Oh my god, it's already over, is it not? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for this, especially since he can't end of turn. Oh, he might spell PS though. Oh, no, yeah. I think, okay, whatever. He can't, I was like, oh, he can't sort the Plowshares this at the end of turn, so it's like super tempo positive for us, because if he goes for Stoneforge now, then he can only sort the Plowshares on the 3rd turn. So let's see what's gonna happen here. That must be Stoneforge, right? Ponder. That's a weird ponder. Usually you want to ponder for your best card and then shuffle away what's left. Whereas now you're stuck with at least 2 out of 3 cards. Unless you already know that you're going to brainstorm fetchland next turn, but you really don't want to brainstorm early. It just loses so much tempo, and also like you don't have full information of the game yet, so you're not 100% sure what you want to keep. Yeah, but mostly the tempo thing. You'd rather like do something meaningful and eventually trade in your extra surplus cards for random cards from your deck, which might be better. Flusterstorm, do it. If you do Flusterstorm, I cannot win on this turn. Yeah, I cannot win this turn. Oh, it resolves. And he cannot... Oh, do I double glimpse? Oh, double glimpse is tempting. But I shouldn't do it. Because then I can't win on this turn. I mean, if I draw Cradle now, I would totally do it. Ink. Cradle? I don't even have to look. Where's the card being drawn from? Probably like over here. And now we get lag. Oh, now it's back. Okay, that's the weirdest Force of Will ever. But I guess it makes sense because this is the best creature he could have followed up the glimpse with. And he pitches? True Name Nemesis, man. Have you ever cast him to Torok? It made your opponent discard 2 cards, lose 1 life, and you got to draw a card? That's how Glimpse sometimes is. Elves plays some of the most broken cards in all of Legacy. Cradle, Glimpse, Basic Forest. It's not even fair. And now we win next turn? Maybe? I'm feeling good because he can't Supreme Verdict next turn. Ponder again. Ponder. Ponder is such a cool card name. Ponder. Actually, people made fun of me for the way I pronounce it. So, like, if it was like super Germanized, it would be Ponder. But now it's like more like Ponder. Glimpse again. I would certainly make the same trade. Okay, you don't. Okay, Cradle. Maybe this time. I mean, I put 4 in the deck for a reason, right? No! Where's my... So we do. It's been a while. And now Visionary. Oh, okay, my deck now is even better. This is even better. My deck is like, no, Julian, don't want to draw Visionary. There's a better card you could draw. Take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Can we... No, we can't get to Nissa yet. Cradle's not a creature yet. Why would Symbiote should like animate creatures? Oh no! I guess if we can still draw Birchclaw Rangers on this, or Quirion Ranger. Quirion Ranger I think would also work on this. No, we drew neither, okay. In this case, we will just draw a couple extra cards and pass. And then probably make Nissa next turn. Oh, he even missed a land drop? Yeah, that's good for us. It's pretty good. Should we send a message and discard like Decay? I think we'd... I'm not even sure if I want to discard a land, honestly. I think I'm going to discard a Nether Sentinel. I kind of don't hate the land. Should we discard Decay? It really sends a message, come on. No, it doesn't really do it. It doesn't send a message. I'm not in it to send messages, okay, especially not against opponents who didn't bad mana us. He found the land. Did he shuffle on the Ponder? Oh, it's been such a long while ago. He shuffled on the Ponder, okay, that makes sense. So his last 3 cards in hand are all non-land cards. So what's the worst case scenario? Not this. So now the worst case scenario is he has like Force of Will, and he probably will Force of Will the Glimpse of Nature. Oh, he goes for Ponder, he doesn't even sort the Plowshares. Yeah, that makes sense. He's like, I need to... So now the worst case scenario is his last 3 cards are gonna be Force, Pitch, Verdict, Land, which is actually the worst case scenario I can come up with, and we totally beat that hand. Like, we beat that hand into the ground. So, this is for you.
Finish him. Fatality.
I needed that. I needed that so much. Don't miss the last game.